What's up, everyone? Welcome to Benched. My name is Joey, and around me, I am joined by my best friends in the whole world. Is that nice, guys? Merry Christmas. Yeah, I don't know who to introduce first. We'll get started here. Terrell, joining the show. Terrell, how you doing?
Wow. Bang, Broncos country. Let's ride.
See, Terrell's always locked and loaded. That's why I went to him first. The brothers are here, Gabe and Angel, and then, of course, AJ Woodson. How y'all doing?
What up? We out here.
We're still in the Christmas spirit, I think. Today at work, it sucked to go to work, but it's still like Christmas time. You know what I'm saying? Like the trees are still up, everything. You know, it's nice.
It's like, oh man, Christmas is only one day.
Yeah,
now it's over.
It really sucks. It was only one day. It was like, man, so what do you do after this?
Hope everyone had a good Christmas out there, and a couple days to New Year. So at least you get to party once more here in a week or so. Hope you can have it off. I realize a lot of people don't have New Year's Day off.
I have it off.
I have it off. It's wild to me.
I'll be home.
If you're watching here on YouTube, welcome to the channel.
Hi.
Like, subscribe, and thanks for joining us as we are creeping up on episode number 200, which is wild to me. By the way, we have now had the full crew for as long as we've had just me and Angel those first 100 episodes. Now you guys have joined for another 100, so congrats to you guys on your first 100 episodes.
Nice.
Good time. That sucker flew by.
It really did.
If you remember, the first episode we ever filmed together, as far as the whole group, was Jason Kelsey's retirement.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
The first show after he retired. So that feels like forever ago. So appreciate you guys and excited for 2025. If you're listening on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, thanks for joining the audio version of the podcast. Follow us on Instagram, X, and TikTok. To follow us on those different social media platforms, search at Benched Show to follow the show between the show. And, of course, check out benchshow.com, home of the Benched Beat articles on fandom, fantasy, and all things NFL. All right, boys, I think today, to start the show, I wanted to get into, because for me, Christmas is about, football. By the way, see ya, basketball. It's just a football holiday now. But I want to talk about
the ratings were insane.
They're insane. We're going to get into that.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about movies and food, okay? What's the most overrated Christmas dish?
Ooh.
And what's the most overrated Christmas movie? Okay? Since I've been cooking on this for a minute, I don't understand, and maybe you guys are there. Yippee-ki-yay. What's the name of the movie again?
You're wrong. That's Die Hard. It's a classic.
Die Hard is not a Christmas movie.
Classic. It's a classic Christmas movie.
Yeah,
It's during a Christmas party. Right?
And I got one for you. Joe.
Go ahead.
This is a movie about an individual in a large building by himself against criminals on Christmas. Right?
Oh, stop.
I'm talking about Home Alone.
Oh.
Die Hard and Home Alone are the same movie.
It's different, though. It has more Christmas magic. Has more Christmas magic. Gabe, yes or no? Is Die Hard and Home Alone the same level of Christmas spirit?
I gotta be honest with you guys. I have never seen Die Hard in my life.
All right.
I will back Gabe here. I have never seen Die Hard once.
Nice.
It's crazy because this is the argument every single year that breaks like family and friends up, and I'm right there like, oh man, it's crazy. I have no idea. What the movie's about.
What makes a Christmas movie a Christmas movie?
The amount of magical Christmas spirit.
Is Santa Claus mentioned in Die Hard? Like the word Santa Claus?
Is there a Christmas song played in the movie at least?
Yes, there you go.
Yes, during the party.
So Christmas lights, Christmas song.
No. I'm not talking about a song in the background. I'm saying like a song that overlaps. Like
that's not fair because that doesn't happen in every Christmas movie.
Okay, well, I'm not being unfair because I've never seen the movie before. So I'm just saying.
He literally on a dead body writes, "Now I have a machine gun. Ho ho ho." There's Christmas elements throughout the whole movie.
That wasn't the question. I just
I answered your question and I'm presenting a new case.
That doesn't sound like Christmas spirit to me either. He writes on a dead body.
That just sounds like a psycho.
Okay.
Jesus.
Okay, now there's a movie. I want you to look this up. It's called Violent Night. It's about Santa Claus going on a murderous spree.
Last year,
so there's no Christmas spirit in that. But is that still a Christmas movie?
But I think because Santa Claus is in it, it makes it a Christmas movie.
You're not going to convince me it's a Christmas movie. Die Hard's a Christmas movie. If you look up Christmas movies right now, Die Hard will pop up on every single list.
You're not wrong.
There's got to be a theory out there that Die Hard that the Home Alone kid is the Die Hard kid is the Home Alone kid.
Yeah.
There's got to be some kind of theory out there because it's like too similar.
Did any of you guys catch the Beyonce halftime show?
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
How'd you like it?
I wish I knew the songs. I don't know any of the songs.
I feel like we need to go Terrell. I feel like we need to go Terrell first on this one. Terrell, how'd you like it?
Oh, I mean, from a halftime show perspective, it was a very entertaining, very spectacular. As far as like a cultural moment, nah. I mean, Beyonce pushed so much that like everyone's just all over just riding Beyonce's nuts all the time. So like, because she's always in the forefront,
right?
Yeah. But I think if you put, as far as like entertainers go, like I think Chris Brown is the closest thing to, everyone comparing her to Michael Jackson right now. So I think Chris Brown is the guy who's closest to Michael Jackson, but it's because Beyonce is always in the forefront.
Yeah, what we were watching it, and there was a Beyonce fan there, and Beyonce was doing her thing where she was on a little platform at the end, she was rising up, and then someone was like, "Only Beyonce can do that." I'm like, Rihanna just did that 2 years ago. What are you talking about?
Only Beyonce can pull this off.
And I was like, only Beyonce can sing country songs that no one listens to. Like, it was like, this stuff it wasn't like new.
I was with Angel when that happened. They were saying like only Beyonce can do like the ceiling thing. I was like, Lady Gaga jumped out of one a couple years ago. Like
anyone could do anything.
What are you talking about?
Yeah,
I'm so over her.
If you've ever been to a Bad Bunny show, that's every time. So
yeah, that's how I kind of felt too. I wasn't excited about it in the first place, but I thought it kind of fell flat. I took a massive dump during most of it, and then I came out and.
The Texan.
I didn't even recognize most of the songs.
It's off for country album that no one listened to, but it's on as for best country album of the year. So that's where we are as a country.
Yeah. I mean, well, I guess that's all we need to say. We had some interesting conversations on YouTube with some of our new followers about Beyonce. So. Go read those if you want a good time. But anyways, all right, guys, let's jump into the news. All right, guys, maybe Beyonce and some of these teams fell flat, but the ratings did not. NFL and NBA viewership numbers for the Christmas games are embarrassing when it comes to the NBA. The Chiefs and Steelers, 24 mil. The Ravens, Texans, 24 mil. There isn't a single NBA game that got into double-digit millions anyway. The highest one, 7 million, Lakers Warriors. Yeah, go Lakers. But yeah, the NBA has pretty much lost Christmas Day, which used to be like growing up, right? It was all about the NBA on Christmas Day, the shoes, the uniforms they used to wear. NFL has really taken over, and Terrell asked you, because I think between you and AJ, maybe the biggest NBA fans in the house, is the NBA, does it ever have a chance getting Christmas back?
No, I mean, it's officially dead. I know LeBron wanted to take it back, but the NBA is riding their same stars they do every year. It's LeBron, it's KD, it's Steph. We get it. We've seen these guys for 10 years. We're on to something new. And it's the NFL season right now. So, and there's playoff implications in these games too. Everybody's tuning in to watch these games. Look, sorry, no one. I'm a Spurs fan. I love Wemby. Nobody's getting up at 9 a.m. to see them play the Knicks. And who is staying up on the East Coast at 10:30 to watch Jokic play? Nobody's watching that. So they need to cut it down to 2 or 3 games. They need to do the NFL does and flex their schedule too, and throw in some, like the Cavs and the Thunder should have been playing on Christmas Day. That's a game we should have seen. Yeah, because those are the top 2 teams in the NBA. So NBA's product is garbage. They shot 73s, something crazy like that. So it's
the NBA has a bigger problem. They're just when the players started not playing every day and telling us that they didn't care, then we stopped caring because they stopped caring. So the NBA has a bigger problem than that. In the NFL, you had Patrick Holmes playing with a gimp ankle in a game, and like in a must-win game. That's why you watched it like the NFL. It's just the NBA's time has passed. That's just how America's working.
AJ, at what point did you make the switch from Christmas Day, I'm watching the NBA, to Christmas Day, I'm watching football as much as I can?
Well, I mean, that switch has already happened. And to me, there's three reasons. Number one, there's no novelty with it anymore. We used to get the uniforms. We used to get, sometimes we get special courts, the shoes. Kobe debuted his Grinches on Christmas. There was a big deal made about it. Number two, there's no storylines in the NBA anymore. We used to get, in the first year that Shaq went to Miami, that was the Christmas Day game, Lakers against Miami Heat. Right. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's friends now. Everybody's homies in the NBA. We don't have those rivalry storylines. We're all sick of LeBron versus Steph. We've seen it for over 10 years. Yeah. And then number three, what Terrell said, the product is just the NBA product. I mean, props to these players coming over from Europe, but they're not marketable to an American audience in the way that Steph, LeBron, and KD were, but we're over those guys. We're hungry for something new, and they just can't give it to us.
Yeah. I won't go to Gabe because the NBA literally never had a foothold on Gabe. So we'll go ahead and move on. Gabe is an NFL guy for life.
The NBA sucks.
Exactly. Case in point. All right, guys. Story that broke that it came out early in the morning, I think, because I kind of saw it early on my phone, and I literally thought it was a dream. Like, this can't be real. But Adam Schefter reported former Seahawks Super Bowl winning head coach, that is Pete Carroll, has expressed interest in the Bears head coach job, would like to return to the sideline next season. Carroll is one of the 4 coaches who have led teams to both national championship and Super Bowls. The others are Barry Switzer, Jimmy Johnson, and Jim Harbaugh. I remember, and we're all SoCal guys, we all remember Pete Carroll on that USC sideline way back when, with those great USC teams, and then of course the Legion of Boom and Russell Wilson and the great teams they had in Seattle. Gabe, I'll go with you first for this one. Is Pete Carroll's time past? He was the oldest coach in the league 3 years ago.
I mean, it just might be. You're starting to see these older coaches starting to age out of the game. Pete Carroll really could have went out on top with Beast Mode and the Legion of Boom. I mean, I just think that as he aged out, you started seeing that Russell Wilson, people start getting tired of him, the same old there. Sometimes it's not you necessarily being a bad coach. It's just not your time anymore. I think it's officially time for him to move on. He has a Super Bowl. He has his days with SC. The guy's accomplished. He's an accomplished coach no matter what you say. But yeah, like Belichick and probably before the college thing now, it's time to move on. He's definitely done.
Angel, 9-8 in his final season with Seattle, missed the playoffs. Is he the right guy for Chicago? That's the real question here.
I wouldn't mind him in Chicago, to be honest. They need some stability, and what he did with the Seahawks when he got there was just make them into a stable franchise. Maybe this is kind of like their plan B. Like, if we can't get the Vrabel or the Ben Johnson, we'll get the Pete Carroll, who just like 3 or 4 years, just mentor Caleb Williams. I don't think they're winning a Super Bowl with Pete Carroll, but he's not bad. He just if the NFL didn't want Belichick, I don't think they're going to want Pete Carroll. They're kind of 2 old guys, and like Abe said, it's not that you're a bad coach; it's just you're old. I mean, teams want young new coaches who can last 10 years, not 3 years.
We'll finish with this, Terrell. Is it a mistake for the Bears to get another retread and not go for one of these emerging young offensive minds? Ben Johnson's the name everyone's talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I think Pete Carroll's interesting because he's 73, but his 70 and Belichick's 72, but those are 2 different energies. Like, Pete Carroll is 73, but he's like 50, really, like as far as his energy goes. So he's someone who could probably coach another 8 years and still look good doing it. Yeah. But I mean, my pick for the Bears has been all season is Brian Flores. That's the guy they need to go off. Angel already mentioned stability. He's going to be the guy who can bring it in. Hard nose. He's tough. He's going to bring some identity to that defense. And
just a douchebag.
Yeah, that's what you need. Everybody needs a douchebag coach from time to time. You got to rein in Caleb Williams, take the nail polish off. Let's stop running out of the pocket.
Let's stop. Let's cut. That's just him expressing himself.
Man, I think
he expresses himself that way.
He's their guy. I don't think they're going to go for him, but that's the guy they need to get. But I don't mind Pete Carroll because he's got a youthful energy to him. He could probably pull it off.
Funny thing is, you would think the most likely coach to return to college is Pete Carroll and that energy. I think he could still do really well in college, but it's Bill Belichick to the college ranks and maybe Pete Carroll back to the professional ranks, which would be, if nothing else, very, very interesting. The Bears, I think I heard Herb Street say tonight on the broadcast, in the last 38 seasons have had 28 losing seasons, or 21
pretty good
losing seasons. So they're in a real rough patch here. It's turning into a half a century slump, which is not great.
Did the Cubs just get it? Well, at one point, the Cubs had won a championship in 100 years. So this is very Chicago-y of this team.
Rough sports town. Great sports town, but just God.
But rough, yeah.
All right, let's move on here. Cowboys wide receiver CeeDee Lamb out for the rest of the season with a shoulder injury. Cowboys basically just electing to shut him down. And for me, that kind of puts nails in the Cowboys season that was. Quite the disaster. But AJ, will go to you first. Cowboys bounce back 2025. What needs to happen this offseason?
I mean, a lot needs to happen. There's several areas of need that they need to address. Overall, what needs to happen is Jerry needs to stop being an entitled prick and make the moves with this team. You have great foundational pieces. Build around those pieces. His hubris on what the Cowboy brand is, that's run out. You've got to build a team, dude.
Yeah. Terrell, is Mike McCarthy the coach in 2025?
I will not be shocked if he's back. I mean, Jerry loves the guy. Jerry's always known for holding on to guys way too long. You saw that with Jason Garrett. Should have been fired probably after 4 seasons. So I wouldn't be surprised if they bring him back, especially if they go on this run and finish with a winning. Aren't they? They're 7-8, right? Or what are they? They have 9 losses.
I could check for you real quick.
They're near 500. You're right on that.
Which is surprising. Good on them.
They finished 8-9 or 9-8. He has a solid argument for injuries or why we weren't there, but I still have the team playing hard all the way down to the end.
Yeah.
So I mean, I would not be surprised if they brought him back.
Angel, I'm going to put you on the spot here. We'll be in Cowboys camp for the 3rd year in a row this offseason. What's the one question that you want to ask these Cowboy fans this offseason? Last year, it was, what do you think of Jerry? We had the Dak and CeeDee Lamb contract situations, which was just a bunch of drama. But this year, after a losing season, what do you want to know from these Cowboy fans?
Well, I would want to know their gauge on whether they want Dion as their head coach. That's what I want. Like, if Dion's out there and you're looking for a head coach, I mean, like I said months before, they need someone who buys into the Dallas, like mystique and the aura. And that's Dion. Dion gets it, and Dion's been a winner everywhere he's gone. So I would want to know, at that point, obviously we'll know who the head coach is. But if Dion hasn't gone to the NFL yet, hey, are you just kind of waiting for Jerry Jones and Dion to make this work, or that's what I would want to. I don't want to know because, like you said, the team foundationally is great. You have a good offensive line. You have CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott, Micah Parsons. Just give up all his leverage there a day and says he'll play for whatever. They have 2 cornerbacks. They have. I know Overshown got hurt, but they have pieces on both sides. They just got to get a head coach like Dion who could just focus them and make them believe in the Cowboy brand.
It would be so exciting if you think about that Cowboys camp and how intimate it is, just everything's on top of you. If Dion was there and the presence, I mean, if I could borrow a term from our younger generation, the aura that man would bring to that camp would be a lot of fun. I'm here for it. Last thing I got, guys, for you, Seahawks running back Kenneth Walker placed on injury reserve with an ankle injury, and so he won't be able to finish out the season. Does this mean, I don't know, but Does he miss the first 2 weeks of the playoffs? If so, do you give this team a chance without its star running back? Gabe, I'll go to you.
I mean, look, I just feel like
I've thought about it.
Oh man.
Well, no. The only reason why I had to think about what they were saying because in fantasy football, I had Charbonnet all year long.
Here we go.
And it was just like I even looked around on the internet to see if anyone else kind of had this thought too. I kind of feel like they want to make that happen too. We're waiting on that. I don't think this is gonna bother the fan base as much. I don't think the front office is gonna be bothered as much with it. It's just I don't know. This was really tricky for me because I have my heart's in it, and I want to do the irresponsible thing and just start the backup. But yeah,
Charbonnet 15 for 57 tonight against the Bears. It's weird to watch the Seahawks operate because you look at the names that are out there. Even Lockett's night, as he looks still like a serviceable back. Terrell, is Geno Smith now the problem in Seattle? And now is he the ceiling now where unless you get rid of that, this team's just going to be, this is pretty much the cap for a Geno Smith-led Seahawks team.
Yeah, I mean, this reminds me of Phillip Rivers in the last few years in the San Diego / LA, I guess when they first moved. It's just like he's fine, he's good, he'll win you games, but he's not going to get you to the over the top. He's your weak link. You finally found it. I think your defense has a little bit more identity. You've got a solid run game. All right, quarterback, he's not doing it for us. Even Jared Goff in LA is kind of the same thing. Like you're not pushing us over the edge. So yeah, he's their weak link. It's definitely. I thought maybe Sam Howell might get a shot and be that, but he's definitely a turnover machine. We saw that once.
He also loves holding the ball for about 12 seconds. He's waiting to see who can how long can I hold his ball until someone knocks me the fuck out.
AJ, so if Geno Smith is not the guy going forward, they don't have a great draft pick. What are the options even for a Seattle quarterback search this offseason?
I mean, that might be an unfair question because we didn't look at Sam Darnold as an option last year. We didn't look at Baker Mayfield as a bridge, which turned into a franchise guy option 2 or 3 years ago. So I would be more excited to see who can emerge. I mean, hey, Geno was not looked at as an option. I think that was 3 years ago. So I mean, we can sit back and name names. Justin Fields. I mean, even Sam Darnold, if he's going to stay in Minnesota, I'd be more excited just to kind of find out who that guy might be if they decide to move on from Geno. Should
be interesting offseason for Seattle. They are currently second, right, in that NFC West race with the Rams with the Rams kind of controlling it at the moment because they seem to just switch.
Yeah, we have to have a conversation on Sunday's show about Kyler Murray, and because that contract is movable this year. I'm just saying, it's going to happen.
You must have missed the show the other day because we definitely had that conversation.
He did. Yeah,
I want to have the conversation with you guys because I
must have been very, very sick. I talked about this, I think, twice.
Thank you. I was very sick, and
we will.
You know me. I love me a good quarterback controversy.
Yeah, we will, and it's a really interesting conversation because someone who at some point seemed untouchable. Now, if you look at his resume there in Arizona, you just got to ask Jess some hard questions. All right, that's it for the news. When we get back, we're going to look at Angels Heavenly Top 10 going to week number 17. Only 2 more of these regular season lists left, so excited about this one. Be right back.
Whoa. Hey, check it out. You're listening to The Bench Project. Podcast. Hey, check it out. You're listening to The Bench Project. Project, why don't I call it that? Hey, check it out. You're listening to The Bench NFL Project. Project, what the fuck? Check it out. You're listening to The Bench NFL Project. Project. Hey, check it out. You're listening to The Bench Podcast.
All right, Angels Heavenly Top 10 going into week number 17. Let's get it started. At number 10, back in the top 10, formerly of San Diego, currently, I guess, of LA, even though we don't know where they are. The Los Angeles Chargers at 9-6. Angel, back in your top 10. Why?
Yeah, they beat Denver Broncos team. They you know how they kind of got hurt. So Jacob Dobbins coming back. He's designated to return from the IR. And I'm just trusting Harbaugh and Herbert right now. They're just playing good. At this point, they're over the Commanders because I like that combo better than I like Jaden Daniels and Dan Quinn. I trust Harbaugh, and I trust because Harbaugh went toe-to-toe with Sean Payton and that defense, and Harbaugh won. That's why I like this team so much. And that defense has been playing great all year. Had a couple up and down moments, but I like this Chargers team a lot.
I feel like this is a good place for me to instigate. Terrell, the Jaden Daniels cheerleader of the show, he's coming off his biggest win of his career, his biggest game of his career, his rookie of the year moment. Do you have the Commanders behind the Chargers at this point in the season?
No, yeah, I would have the Commanders in that slot there, and the only reason why the Chargers got demolished by the Bucks the week before, and they didn't come out looking great even against Denver. They pulled it out in new Chargers fashion. The Chargers of old would have lost that game on Thursday night, but the Chargers are good. I would put the Commanders in there because Jaden Daniels is unbelievable. I mean, 5 touchdowns is nuts. So I would put the Commanders in that spot. It's tight, but I'm going off of the Chargers won a divisional game. Good for them, but they got smoked by the Bucks. They got smoked. That's a bad loss at home.
Commanders aren't going to play an Eagle team without Hurts and C.J. Gardner-Johnson again. They gave up 33 points to Kenny Pickett. Like, this defense, even with Latimer, who I thought was going to be a difference maker, he was getting cooked all day. But I mean, a lot of people get cooked by A.J. Brown. But Latimer was not the difference maker I thought. I think that was his rookie of the year moment, Jane Daniels. But that team was like, I don't trust this team to do this every game to throw 5 touchdowns against the Eagles or against that's what they need to do to win. That's not sustainable. That's the only reason why I like the Chargers, because like Chargers can win like running the ball or passing the ball. Commanders need to get in a shootout because they can't run the ball too effectively.
Notable too, Deontay Johnson was released by the Ravens and awarded to the Texans. The only other team to put a claim in on him was the Los Angeles Chargers. So looks like receiver there is obviously their Achilles heel, and they know it. AJ, I'll let you be the tiebreaker here. Commanders or Chargers?
For lack of a better team going to that spot, I don't like either of these teams in the top 10. But for lack of a better team going to that spot, I'm going to stick with the Chargers there above the Commanders. Yes, Jaden Daniels had a great win against a great defense. But what Angel said, the Commanders are not going to face a Jalen Hurts and C.J. Gardner-Johnson with Eagles again. I think the air was sucked out of the room the second Jalen Hurts went down, and you have to throw Kenny Pickett out there. The fact that the Eagles were even still in that game is huge. Also, Commanders had a ton of turnovers. Yes, they still pulled it out, but 5 turnovers. They still pulled out the win, but looking at these two teams, I'd have the Chargers at.
All right, let's go to number 9, the Rams at 9-6. They beat the Jets last time we saw them, 19-9. Rams at number 9. I don't know if they were in last week's list, but
they were on the outside looking in.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah,
they were number 11 or 12.
So tell us why the Rams then have jumped the Chargers and the Commanders and the Broncos.
I like teams that peak at the end of the season, and I know that they beat the Jets, but a win's a win. And in the NFC West, that's kind of all you need to do is just win. This Rams team, I just like most of these teams here. I'm going to head coach quarterback combos, and McVay and Stafford is one I just do not want to face in the playoffs, and one that's getting hot right now with Puka Nacua. Cooper Kupp doesn't even need to be Cooper Kupp anymore. You can just be a regular wideout, which is probably so liberating for him. But and that defense is I like the team a lot. I think in the playoffs they're gonna make a little noise because they're well built. They have a good front seven. Their O-line's manageable. They never had a good O-line. But Stafford, Cooper Kupp, Kyron Williams, that trio is not talked about enough. Is that threesome? They're a very good team.
Gabe, remember this is a Rams question, not a Packers question.
Here we
But if the Packers did draw the Rams in the first round, which I think is still a possibility, are the Rams someone that scare you in the playoffs with now that they're healthy?
No. It's pretty much as simple as that. And I will tell you what, when I saw this Rams team go against an Eagles team, the team that is on the left-hand side of these rankings here, the Rams got blown out. They got exposed to the team that they really are. I agree the Rams are one of the hotter teams in football right now. I agree Puka's on the world right now. I fully agree. I'm just saying this is my personal belief. If you don't agree with that's fine. When you put this team against a good playoff team, I think even my Packers would be a much better playoff team. I don't think this Rams team will be able to keep up. One of the hottest teams in football. That's fine. That's great. Vibes are good in LA. Awesome. Put them against a contender, a true contender. We saw what happened a couple weeks ago. I'm not buying the hype.
Terrell, do the Rams have the goods in the playoffs?
They are one of those teams that can you don't want to face in the first round. They're not going to make a deep run, but they're one of those any given Sunday teams. The Rams, Commanders, Bucks, those are one of those any given Sunday type of teams. I would have put even the Broncos in there as hey, we lost to this team, but it's not a shock that we lost this game because they can get one game. They can have a really good game and beat you.
Yeah.
So they're not one of those teams that can have a really good game, not just beat you, but beat you by two or three scores.
All right, let's keep it moving here. The Steelers up next at number 8. Number 9. 8.
Oh, 8. You got it.
Sorry, my children are literally screaming in the room next to me. The Steelers here at number 8 at 10-5. I want to talk about the Steelers because they lost to the Ravens 34-17. We're not competitive. I believe that's 3 losses in a row. Russell Wilson, if you've been paying attention, now 0-3 against playoff teams, whereas Justin Fields was 3-0 against playoff teams. So Russell Wilson is kind of coming down to earth now. Steelers at number 8. Angel, you do have an arrow down, but how close are they to falling out of the top 10 altogether?
I think they're talented enough to stay in above the Rams, but I've kind of lost hope. I think like what happened with the Chargers a couple weeks ago. They seem to be almost deflating. Offensively, they seem to be in a spot where if it's not a Pickens crazy catch, it's just not going to be anything. And this is my worry. This is mine and Gabe's worry. And we got chewed up in the comment section for weeks. Like they lack weapons. Russell needs weapons. At this point, he can't just run around and make magic happen as much as he used to. He only has Pickens, and if Pickens isn't doing great, then their offense isn't gonna do great. Also, the defense has been tore up a couple games now. And then Joey Porter Jr. calf injury, he left. So without their best corner, I'm worried about this Pittsburgh team going in the playoffs a little banged up and a little bit without weapons on the perimeter. So they're good enough. They're exactly what Mike Tomlin's team is. They're good. They're good enough to be a top 10 team. But as far as how high, I mean, I had them above the Packers for weeks, and they've just proven me wrong 2 weeks in a row, and I can't put them above Green Bay or Baltimore anymore.
AJ, wild situation, but 2-part question. Will they or should they make a change at quarterback if Russell Wilson keeps not being competitive against good teams?
No, I don't think they would need to make a change at quarterback. And I'm not the biggest Russell Wilson fan at all. But just like Angel said, they have a pass catcher's problem or a problem in the pass catcher's room. And I think that's an area of need that they need to address more than taking a look at the quarterback.
Yeah, Terrell, you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the defense. I mean, this defense is actually not as as strong as they as they've been in the month of December. I mean, they're giving up around 28 points a game. So I mean that defense, which is supposed to be their calling card. The offense isn't. If Russ isn't putting up numbers, like even in some of their wins. Like it was a shootout. Like the Bengals game was a shootout. The Ravens game was another shootout type of game. So that defense needs to be able to. That defense has to step it up. So that's the thing I'm worried about the most is how poorly the defense played, especially in the month of December.
Yeah, Steelers just a couple of weeks ago seemed like they're on top of the world. Now after 3 straight losses, 10-5. tied now with the Ravens for that division. We'll see how they wrap up these final 2 weeks. Let's move on here to the Ravens at number 7, 10-5. Back-to-back monster wins for the Ravens against the Steelers, and then a 31-2 Christmas Day ass whooping against the Houston Texans. Angel, the Ravens.
Yeah. Harbaugh and Lamar Jackson peaking at the right time will land you on this list. Honestly, it was hard for me to put them above Green Bay. They're playing great right now. Those two teams, Steelers and Houston, no matter what we think about them, they're in the playoff. Those are two playoff teams. So yeah, I'm very impressed. Lamar Jackson will win MVP because he's putting up phenomenal numbers.
His best of his career.
His best of his career passing. And shout out to Lamar Jackson, just surpassed Michael Vick for the most rushing yards for a quarterback ever. That right there, that's amazing. Lamar Jackson might be the best athlete we've ever seen at quarterback ever, and we're not talking about it enough. But yeah, they're just peaking at the right time. I don't know why it couldn't work with Deontay Johnson. Would love to see it work there, but just didn't. This team's they have their weak points. Obviously, cornerback is a little bit weak point, but they put up 2 good games and they shut out the Texans. That sack is a Derrick Henry cutting right step away from this game being 31-0.
Yeah. Okay, I want to do quickly around the room here. With Lamar having his best season of his career, I think 37 touchdowns, 4 interceptions now, just crazy numbers. And then coming up on 1,000 yards rushing, I think just under 900, something like that. Derrick Henry, healthy in the building, looking really good. Zay Flowers quietly having a really nice sophomore season. Scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the most confident. What is your confidence level this year? Because we know with the Ravens, it's all about, okay, but can they do it in the playoffs? What's your confidence level in the Ravens this year? Gabe, we'll start with you, 1 to 10.
I'll make it really quick. I'm going to give them an 8. We know the history of the Ravens in the playoffs, but I think the X factor for them to change the narrative this year is a running back. King Henry, if he can continue doing his thing, I think there's a reason why Lamar Jackson's getting a lot more open looks. He's having a lot more time. He's having a lot more opportunity. I'm going to give him an 8. Still a little cautious going in, but I think if they do the right thing, give Henry the ball, allow Lamar to play free, this Ravens team can go pretty far. A couple weeks ago, I think we all picked them to be in the Super Bowl. Yeah. So my confidence is high, still a little optimistic. Or I'm optimistic, a little cautious.
8 from Gabe. AJ, where you got him?
I got him at a 6.5. To me, there's a difference. Looking at this list, at number 7, got the Ravens. Every team above that are teams that have not had any lows this season. The Ravens have had too many lows. They started the season on a low, brought it back a little bit, sputtered a little bit. They're too high and low for me to be extremely confident in them. Now, the key thing what Gabe was saying, can they? And if they give Derrick Henry the ball the way they're supposed to, if the defense plays the way they're supposed to, then yes, this team can go far. The confidence, though, I don't have a ton.
Fair enough. Terrell.
My confidence is at 9 with the Ravens. I mean, these guys are playing really good football. They won 3 straight, 4 out of the last 5. I mean, even they only lost by one score against Philly. And Philly's a solid team, so it's not like the Ravens lose against bad teams, and they're coming out and playing well against some of the top teams. Look, it just comes down to, can Lamar Jackson make the clutch plays when it counts? That's really all it comes down to. You got Derrick Henry. The defense is good enough. He's playing his best ball. He's playing good ball last year too. He just couldn't make clutch plays. So we'll see. It's going to come down to a tight finish, but it's at a 9. I'm not concerned really about the Ravens at all. I don't think they've really had a lot of lows. I think we just get down on them when they lose. When they lose, right. It's like, oh, the Ravens, oh my God, they're horrible. It's like they lost by a touchdown to a 12-win team.
Yeah.
So I'm not concerned. I have them higher than Green Bay and Detroit.
Oh wow. Angel, I'll go and then have you finish this up here. Mine is also at a 9. I'm pretty confident in this Ravens team. I feel really good about them, namely because they finally figured out the defense, and I think that was my biggest reservation for them this year, is that early on the defense was trash. It was not good. Defensive coordinator, I think, Michael Orr, something like that. He kind of seemed like he was a little above his head.
That guy?
Michael Orr's a coach?
How old are we?
Yeah, I know, right? But if you have heard Collinsworth, he's kind of beat at home. When they moved Kyle Hamilton back to deep safety out of the box, it kind of changed their defense. What's that?
Zach Orr is the DC.
Zach Orr. Yeah, but once they moved Kyle Hamilton out of the box back into deep safety, this defense really changed, not giving up the big plays like they were at the beginning of the season. Also now, I think, number one against the run. And so this defense, very solid going into the playoffs, weapons all over the field on offense. I love what Zay Flowers is doing. Honestly, I love even what the cast behind Zay Flowers is doing kind of as a collective unit with Mark Andrews in the red zone, Isaiah Likely kind of a breakout season. I'm pretty confident in these Ravens team, and I would love a Ravens-Bills AFC championship. Actually, I think right now those are the two best teams in the AFC. And I know the Chiefs have a lot to say about that. Angel, confidence level in the Ravens.
I mean, there's a reason why I have them behind the Packers. I'm fairly. This is like they've done this so many times. We've been. I'm just worried about being tricked again by Lamar Jackson and this offense.
We're all ready.
Because like we've had seasons where Lamar Jackson's MVP, they're peaking at the right time. They have Harbaugh, and then they end up just shooting blanks in the damn playoffs. So I have to honestly, it's a wait and see. Lamar Jackson can throw 50 more touchdowns with no picks. I still be the same as I am right now. Yeah. I've seen before. I'm cautiously optimistic with this team. I would say like a 7 or a 6, but besides that, I love Lamar Jackson. I wish he could do it in the playoffs because that'd make his career like up there with the Peyton Mannings and the Drew Breeses if he has a title run, if he has an actual Super Bowl. So that would be incredible.
If he has a title run, we're going to start talking about greatest of all time with the numbers he's going to put up. If he wins a couple titles, we're going to start talking about it should be in the conversation at least. He's not Brady. I don't think he'll touch Mahomes. Terrell, what you got?
I was just going to say something off topic. I don't know if you guys are watching this game.
Yeah, I'll say it.
Caleb Williams just threw a pick to lose the game, and there's 4 Bear fans with paper bags over their heads looking down the barrel of the camera, just giving double bird on Amazon Prime TV.
Yeah, baby.
It's bad over there. They put up 3
points. That was hilarious. That was the funniest thing I've ever seen.
We will get that on the social medias as soon as possible. Speaking of hot teams, though, let's move on here to the 11-4 Green Bay Packers. As down as even we've been on the Packers this year, they find themselves at 11-4, a 34-0 ass whooping put on the New Orleans Saints, the first shutout of the season. I mean, the Packers are peaking at the right time. They're at number 6 in your list. Angel, talk about them.
Yeah, this kind of started when my faith started turning when they beat Miami in the cold, and the next week they had the Lions with that 34-31 loss, which isn't really as even as that score kind of says. But since then, 30-13 Seattle, and obviously 34-0 New Orleans. This team I like teams that know what they are this late. They know what they are. We're going to run the ball. We're going to limit Jordan Love's desire to be Josh Allen, and we're going to just hold him back and that defense plays well. So run the ball, play good defense. I like the head coach a lot. Obviously, LaFleur is one of the best in the business. Jair Alexander is still not practicing and might not play Sunday. I don't know what's going on there. We're still on a wait and see with him. But this seems good. This is probably tell you what though. This is probably the ceiling though. This is as good as they're going to get this year because unless Love has a crazy playoff run. This is kind of where they are, where I am with them because their lack of weapons is hurting them. I think the desire they had to make a homegrown superstar wideout has kind of just fallen apart, and that's kind of where their Achilles heel is.
Gabe, you seem a little bothered by that.
Yeah, I'm so sick of this wide receiver talk crap. That's such nonsense. It's such nonsense. We're still talking about the wide receivers have a problem, or the Packers have a problem at the wide receiver spot.
Here we go.
Is there an issue in Green Bay with the wide receivers? Am I missing something? Are we not seeing production from these wide receivers? Are they not stepping up when their number is called upon? I get You want a Jefferson, you want a Chase, you want a Brown. I get that. But are they not answering the call as a group? I just don't know what else they have to do. I don't know what I mean. I like the spot you have them at 6. They don't have that staple win. They have an opportunity coming up this week. But the fact that the defense is playing like a top 5 unit right now, Love is protecting the ball. Josh Jacobs is if it wasn't for Saquon and King Henry just having these dynamic years, Josh Jacobs will be one of the best backs in the league, if not the best. I don't know what else the Packers have to do to win the respect other than have that staple win, which is fair. But beyond that, if you're going to disrespect them like that, I'm not going to stand for it. I'm just not going to stand
disrespect the number 6 on my list. How's that?
No.
Disrespectful.
I'm talking about the wide receivers saying that it's a problem. Tell me what the problem is.
We'll see what happens when they play. Both times.
No. Tell me what the problem is.
Okay, let me tell you. When they played Lions both times, there was a wide receiver problem. They had a big play from Watson, and that's it. They don't have the ability to keep up with big teams. And the Lions and
what was the final score of both those games? What was the final score of both those games since we weren't able to keep up with them?
34-31. So you couldn't keep up. 24-14.
That's a 3-point loss. You're acting like we lost by 3 scores.
You couldn't keep up, right? So you lost. I'm saying and then again,
you couldn't keep up because we lost by a field goal. Yeah, we lost by a field goal, so we couldn't keep up. Is that what you're saying? Right.
Yeah, exactly what I'm saying. I'm saying they're limited because they exactly.
Let me step in.
Eagles couldn't keep up. Keep up with the Commanders. They lost by 2 or 3 points.
Gabe wants team number 1.
There you go.
Quiet. Listen, the Packers do seem like the disrespected team this year. I'm not saying I agree with either of you.
Total nonsense.
If you caught
the number Netflix, 6 on my list.
Shut up. If you caught the Netflix presentation, it was pretty funny when they put the top 4 rushers in the league this year, and they just completely left out Josh Jacobs. They put Bijan Robinson instead, who has less yards than Josh Jacobs. They just put Bijan instead. I do think the Packers are a little disrespected this year. I think they're a little overlooked because Jordan Love did not take over the league that we all wanted him to. But yeah, I think we'll see that. Wait and see. We'll see if the receivers do end up being a problem in the playoffs. We need to move forward here. Let's go with the Lions at 13-2. Angel, you have dropped the Lions to number 5 after a win and after they have secured their franchise record 13th win of the season. Explain yourself, son.
Let's pair this with the Vikings being number 4. That's the only way I can explain it. So the last 5 weeks it's been Lions, Vikings. But if you look at this teams and look at their wins and look at their stats, they're pretty much a mirrored team. Like, as good as the Lions are this year, that's how good the Vikings have been this year. Like, it's not like there's some huge disparity between the Lions, with the Lions and the Vikings. So when you get to this point where you're this high up the mountain and you're trying to pick up which team is better or not, you start saying, okay, who's the healthiest? And Minnesota is the healthiest. Which quarterback's playing better football? Sam Darnold is playing better football. They're just a little bit better in some areas. And as good as the Lions are running the football, is as good as the Vikings are passing the football. The Vikings are a top 10 offensive unit and a top 3 defensive unit. This is not saying that the Lions can't keep up. You're just saying that the Vikings are just a smidge better than the Lions. This tier of football is just you're on the mountaintop. You're on Everest. It's just nitpicking.
So NFC North at 4, 5, and 6 here. AJ, Lions or Vikings?
I just think I have more faith in the Lions. It's a Jared Goff versus Sam Darnold conversation. And just like Angel mentioned about Lamar Jackson not being able to do in the playoffs and Lamar Jackson to do this and do that, you're not going to trust them. I think Sam Darnold can do this and do that, and I'm not going to trust them as much as I would trust Jared Goff, which is such a weird conversation to think about like 3 years ago that we'd be having.
Yeah, Sam Darnold versus Goff.
Yeah, I trust Goff. But I just trust the Lions. But I mean, the Vikings are just top to bottom, the coaching staff. Jordan Addison is emerging.
Yeah.
The defense. We don't even have to talk about the defense of the Vikings. And while the Lions are losing pieces left and right, it's a tough one. It's a tough conversation. I don't think I'd have the nuts to put the Lions below the Vikings, but I respect Angel for having that conversation.
That Vikings defense is top 3 in points yard, point points per game, points per play in the red zone on third down. They just play good, and they put pressure on you. It's just a good team.
All right, let's move forward here off the Lions and the Vikings at 4. Let's go to the Bills at number 3. The Bills escaped with a win over the Patriots, 24-21. And they're here at number 3. They moved down, I believe, one spot.
Yeah, they flip-flopped with the Chiefs. Let's just pair these two teams together. Chiefs look like to be a healthy and a deep team, which is crazy. Chris Jones didn't even play, and they still pretty handily beat who they play. Blanking out. Christmas Day.
The Steelers.
Yeah. The Chiefs are just peaking at the right time, and it's more of just.
Well, let's talk about the Bills first. Terrell,
okay,
any nervousness here that the Bills barely beat the Patriots?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I mean. The Bills are such a confusing team. Like, I get it. It's a divisional game. The Patriots suck. Like, you should be able to, beat them handily. Like, I get it. You might beat them by 10, 12 points. It might be a little bit closer because it's a divisional game, but you shouldn't be down at half and be struggling to squeak out a win.
Yeah.
Against a Patriots team. So the Bills are a little bit confusing. Like I said before, it's all Josh Allen, and that's, I think, is their biggest Achilles heel is Josh Allen has to do everything. And so if he doesn't have a good game, then you lose.
Right.
Because they don't have anything else to hang their hat on.
We'll see how that philosophy goes going into the playoffs. Angel mentioned the Chiefs. They're at 15-1, 11 wins this year by 8 or less, but I feel like those days are behind them. They're playing their best ball right now. They're healthy. They're suddenly flush full of weapons, and they dominated the Steelers 29 to 10 on Christmas Day. I think the Chiefs are as scary as they've been all year. Let's talk and finish it up here with the Philadelphia Eagles at number 1. Hurts in concussion protocol. The defense carved up by Jaden Daniels. He drops 250 and 5 touchdowns against them. But a win Sunday clinches the NFC East. Angel, they stay at number 1, though.
Yeah, they were up 21-7, and then Jalen Hurts got hurt. I'm not going to put it's a different game. It's a great game for the Commanders and for Jaden Daniels, but this team's too solid and too balanced. Healthy Jalen Hurts, and that game's not close at all. I don't think. I'm not losing my confidence in them just because their best player on defense, or one of the best players on defense, and their best player on offense got hurt.
AJ, you got like 30 seconds here. Eagles, any worries here going to the playoffs?
The cynical fan wants to worry, but just what Angel said, like losing Jalen Hurts is just tough to come back from, and then the ridiculous way that CJGJ gets kicked
that's
out.
some bullshit.
Ridiculous.
It was that was a reputation.
That was exactly what it was. That was that Patrick Beverly type of So no, I'm not too worried. I am worried about locking up the division though if we don't get Jalen Hurts back this week.
Yeah, we got the Cowboys and then the Giants, so I'm not as worried, but we'll see how that goes. That is Angels Heavenly Top 10 going into week number 17. All right, that's our show for today, episode 197 in the bag. Check out our channel because we are also releasing today our picks for week number 17, so check that out as well as check out the Best of Bench. It's a series of clips. Maybe you don't have time to watch a full episode all the time, so check that out, our best clips of the week. Other than that, we'll see you guys on Monday, recapping week 17. See you, boys. Thanks.
Peace.